Hey there, quick question for you. What were you doing at 8 p.m. yesterday? Were you eating dinner, maybe watching some TV, or were you already studying English? Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to learn a super useful English verb tense, the past continuous. Some people call it the past progressive. Whatever you call it, it's incredibly important for everyday conversations. So let's just dive right in.
So usually in English, we use the simple past to talk about a quick, finished action. Think about your day. You can say, I started work at 9 a.m. and I finished work at 5 p.m. Those are exact, short points in time. But what about all that time in between? Well, if you want to show that an action went on for a long time in the past, you use the past continuous. You'd say, I was working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And you know what's really great? The rule to make this is actually super simple. To build a positive sentence, you just need your subject, the past form of the verb to be, and an action verb with the letters ing at the very end. So for the subjects I, he, she, and it, we use was, like she was working. But for you, we, and they, we use were, like they were working.
But hold on, be careful here. This is a really common mistake I see beginners make all the time. A lot of students will say, we was relaxing. And nope, that's incorrect. Because the word we is a plural subject, which means more than one person, you absolutely must use were. So the correct sentence is, we were relaxing. Always remember to match your subject to the right helping verb.
Okay, now it's your turn to try. Let's fill in the blank. They blank eating lunch. Is it was or were? Go ahead and pause the explainer for a second and say your answer out loud. Did you say were? Awesome job. They were eating lunch is absolutely correct. Great, so you just nailed how to make positive sentences. Next up, let's try negative ones. And honestly, it's so easy. We just add the word not. I was not working. We were not working. But in friendly, everyday spoken English, we usually squeeze those words together to make them shorter. Was not becomes wasn't. Try saying it with me, wasn't. And were not becomes weren't. Listen closely and repeat, weren't. Just make sure you really pronounce that T at the end.
Now, what if we want to ask a question? A lot of learners get a bit mixed up here and ask when you were going to call, but that's the wrong word order. To make a question, you actually have to switch the subject and the helping verb around. You put was or were before the person. So the correct way is, when were you going to call? Or simply, were you waiting a long time?
Let's stop and practice that again. Take a look at this positive sentence, Ruby was teaching. How would you make this sentence negative? Say your answer out loud right now. The answer is, Ruby was not teaching, or if you want to sound really natural and use the short form, Ruby wasn't teaching. Spot on. Now that we've got the basic structure down, let's look at the action verbs themselves. We always add ing. For most words, you literally just stick it on the end. Talk becomes talking. Simple, right? But there are a couple of special spelling rules. If a verb ends in the letter E, you have to drop that E before adding ing. So make becomes making, without the E. And if a verb ends in IE, like the word lie, you change the IE into a Y and then add ing. So lie becomes lying. There's one more really important spelling rule we need to talk about. Look at the end of a short verb. If it ends in a consonant, then a vowel, like A, E, I, O, U, and then another consonant, we call that a CVC pattern. When you spot this, you have to double the very last letter before you add ing. For example, jog ends in J-O-G, consonant, vowel, consonant. So we add an extra G. It becomes jogging with two Gs. Let's check out a very common spelling mistake. Listen to this. She was baking a cake. Do you see what might go wrong there? The word bake ends in an E. A lot of beginners just forget to remove it. The correct spelling is baking, B-A-K-I-N-G. Remember, we always drop the E. Time for another quick quiz. Think about the verb sit, S-I-T. How do you spell its continuous form? Pause the explainer really quick and spell it out loud. Did you remember the rule? It's S-I-T-T-I-N-G, sitting, with two T's because sit is a short CVC word. You are doing amazing so far. Now, let's talk about exactly when you'd use this tense in real life. We use it all the time when a long action gets interrupted by a short, sudden action. Imagine you're watching TV from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's a long, continuous action. But suddenly, right at 9 p.m., the power goes out. We put these two events together using the word when. We say, I was watching TV when the power went out. That short, interrupting action just uses the simple past.
Sometimes, though, two long actions are happening at the exact same time. One doesn't interrupt the other, they just happen together. When this is the case, we connect them using the word while. For example, Juan was playing the guitar while Maria was singing. Both of those actions are long, and both are happening in the past, completely at the same time.
So, the most important rule here is that you have to keep your time straight. Look at this mistake. Someone wrote, I am studying when you called. Why is that wrong? Well, because I am studying means it's happening right now in the present, but called is in the past. You absolutely cannot mix a present tense action with a past interruption. It has to be, I was studying when you called.
Let's test your memory on this. Which word fits best in this sentence? I was making dinner, blank, my sister was studying. Is it when or while? Go ahead and type your answer in the comments right now. If you chose while, you got it. Making dinner is a long action and studying is a long action. Two long actions get connected with while.
Okay, now we need to talk about a huge exception. There are some verbs in English that can never, ever use that ing form. We call these stative verbs. They describe a state of being, a feeling, or something you own. They aren't active movements. Words like know, hate, own, want, and need are stative verbs, and we cannot use them in the past continuous tense.
And this is a perfect example of that rule. You can't say, I was knowing him for many years, because know is just a state of your mind. It's not a physical action you're doing. So you just use the simple past instead. The correct, natural way to say it is, I knew him for many years.
Here's a really tricky verb to watch out for. Have. Sometimes have means you own something, like a computer. In that case, it acts like a stative verb. You can't say, he was having a computer. You just say, he had a computer. But if have is being used as an action, like going to a party or enjoying yourself, then adding ing is totally fine. You absolutely can say, he was having fun. Now it's your turn again. Is this sentence correct or incorrect? I was believing you. Pause the explainer and decide. It's incorrect. Believe is a state of mind, so it's a stative verb. You can't use ing there. You should just say, I believed you.
Look at how much we've covered today. Let's do a super quick summary to lock it all in. 1. We build this tense using was or were plus an ing verb. 2. We use it for long continuing actions in the past. 3. Always watch those spelling rules, especially dropping the E and doubling letters. 4. Use when for sudden interruptions and while for two long actions. And 5. Never use stative verbs like know or want with this tense.
Before we wrap up, let's do two final quiz questions just to make sure you've got it. Number 1. Blank, you're listening to the teacher. Which word goes there? Was or were? Say it out loud. The answer is were, because the subject is you. Were you listening to the teacher?
And quiz 2. Which sentence is correct? A. They were owning a house. Or B. They owned a house. Take a few seconds to think about it. The correct answer is B. Own is a stative verb that shows possession. You just can't use it in the continuous tense.
You did a fantastic job today learning the past continuous tense. Seriously, great work. Now, I have a challenge for you. Remember that very first question I asked you? What were you doing yesterday at 8 p.m.? I want you to practice what you just learned and write your answer down in the comments below. And hey, what happens if we talk about an action continuing into tomorrow? Well, the future continuous is actually even easier, but we're going to have to save that for next time. Don't forget to like this explainer and subscribe for more fun and easy English lessons. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.